wanted to chunk up on what bioenergetics is about. To me, it's about letting the puppy go into the dog park and letting it off the leash and letting it run around in the dog park where it's not going to get hurt and it's not going to hurt anybody else. It's let it out. Have you ever seen a puppy that does that? And it's like, if you have a dog or cat that doesn't get to enough exercise, or you got a dog that you leave in the house and you never let it go for walks, and then it chews up the pillows on your couch, that's your fucking fault. That's your fault because you didn't take the dog for a walk. You are the dog in this metaphor, okay? Your body is the dog. So there are things that we gotta learn how to express. We gotta let them out. We talked about the biting and the anxiety and all these different things. And I was told very early on in my study of psychology and NLP in particular that expression or catharsis doesn't work and is actually harmful. Now, I will say that in some circumstances, I agree with that point. But I had this huge judgment on it because I think the people that I learned it from, that I heard that from, frankly, are really emotionally fucking repressed.
Stuck in their head.
Yeah, and they're super stuck in their head in the NLP world. And because of that, they say, yeah, not only does it not work, but it's actually bad for you to express things emotionally. Right. And you should just keep getting more and more disconnected and keep floating higher and farther back.
One of my anxiety clients, he was like, he was scared that if he addressed it, that he would lose control.
Yeah.
Which goes to the,
Oh my God. I mean, there's so much stuff about even just feeling pleasure presupposes that you're letting go of control. And so people are afraid of pleasure because they're afraid of letting go of control. So I remember when I first started learning about bioenergetics, I was working with a therapist, this woman named Susan Campbell up in the Bay Area. And she is amazing. I love this woman so much. She's so brilliant. And I asked her one time, what do you think about this catharsis? And I was like, really, like, I was almost like ashamed. Like I was afraid she was going to like scold me and be like, no. And she's like, oh yeah, I've murdered my own mother about half a dozen times. And I was like, what? And she said, oh yeah, I've role played with people where like, they would pretend to be my mother and I would have like a fake knife and I'd get all the anger that I had toward my mother when I was a child, and I would just kill them, and then I'd like strangle a pillow. And you have to get to this place where you let go of your judgment on this stuff. Biting people is wrong, and it's bad, and we don't want to live in a society where you walk around and bite people. The reason you express this stuff in these environments is so you don't bite people. You pretend to get this stuff out so that when you're around another person, they don't push your buttons and you don't react at a 10 when what actually happened justified a 2. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And just without being all thought police on it, right? You don't want to get all like, I can only think these kinds of thoughts. I must think good thoughts. Right. Then you're going back to like thinking about adultery is the same as committing adultery. Talk about thought crimes and like the thought police.
You're not in control of your thoughts any more than you're in control of your feelings. When a thought comes through your mind, you should have no judgment over that thought. It's just a thought. Just let it float down the fucking river.
Project.